What's good, YouTube? Welcome back to another episode of the Voice in the Podcast. I'm Marino Jorge, and I'm here with Joe Miranda. Joe, how you doing today, man?
I'm doing good, man. How are you?
I'm doing good. My apologies, not recording last week. We just the storm and stuff like that. We were busy, so we didn't. We had stuff to talk about. We just pushed it to this week, and so now let's just dive right in and talk about now the Boston Celtics. The Boston Celtics, if you don't know, they're under 500. They did win against the Pacers yesterday, but it was a little bit scary. So because I honestly I didn't watch the full game, but I watched the last couple of minutes. Man, Boston Celtics fans, I know watching that game were having a heart attack. It was like it
Hmm.
because they had a 9 point lead with about a minute and 30 seconds left in the game, and then the Pacers went on a run. So at one point to where the game was at 2 points, and it was almost like I think it was about 20, 25 seconds left in the game, and the Pacers just missed threes. Like they were trying to create shots and so and stuff like that. Luckily, you know, it didn't fall for them. So then that's why Boston uh, picked up the win. So it was a good win for them overall, like a much needed win because oh my
Yeah.
God, it was starting to get really bad for them. They're still one game under 500. They're still sixth in the East. They can probably climb up or so, but that's kind of the things that have been happening last night. They blew a lead against the Pelicans, a 24-point lead. You know that especially in today's league, man, it don't matter what lead you have, it is gonna get blown some type of way.
Hmm.
Like we've already seen it now. Having leads is it's a disaster because at one point, like once you have a lead, the gas pedal is off. You're just gonna chill now, but now you still gotta apply that pressure until the game is really decisively in your hands. Like you can have a
Yeah.
24-point lead in the fourth, and then under like 3 to 4 minutes, a team can come back. Like that's how pretty much how it is because teams have a tendency of being so comfortable and thinking, "Nah,
Hmm.
we good."
Yeah.
Kind of like, especially like, no, it's not. Because like basketball, there's so much more. There's so many more possessions now that you can come back from any lead now. So it's easier now to so it's difficult not to have a lead now because you realize, wait, they have a lot more opportunities, so they can come back in the game. So that's how it works. But like getting back to the Boston talk, I have been watching a lot of their games, man, and it's very concerning. Like Brad Stevens and so when Danny Ainge and guys like that come to Danny Ainge has had a boatload of like Danny Ainge used to be finessing people to get these guys or get these draft picks and stuff like that. Danny Ainge was known, he had a boatload of picks, but like he never really use them to trade anybody. And so like Danny Ainge, one of the people to blame because kind of like Boston, their bench is not great. Their bench isn't great. He
Hmm.
didn't. They don't really have like a true center. Like Robert Williams is one of their bigs, so he's a backup big, so he doesn't get that many minutes. So we don't have a great bench. We don't have really great. We don't really have a great center, and also like overall on the basketball court, we're not looking as good. Brad Stevens as well, you can say for him not making that many adjustments and like it's hard to really know how deep Boston is not that deep. Boston is pretty much a playoff team with their roster because they're not that deep. Brooklyn is not that deep either, but
Hmm.
they're top heavy. So Boston is top heavy with their star guards. So like it's Danny Ainge's fault for not for like he was known for like finessing people, getting all these draft picks, and so like having the mutation and so stuff like that, but never really using it. So Danny Ainge never really improved the roster. It's really been the same roster, but they've just been adding guys. So that's pretty much how the Celtics have been doing it. So then with Brad Stevens, it's kind of like I don't know what you want me to do because like you never really change the roster and so like that. I have Jalen Brown and Jason Tatum, two All Stars, two very young players, two very good players, but also young. So it's kind of hard. So people expect them to make this gigantic leap. It's kind of like they kind of got to realize that these dudes are young. So it kind of takes time for guys for them to develop it or something like that. But one of the things that's noticeable is that they're missing a Gordon Hayward, which I to this day I will never understand why they gave up on him. They let him. One of the worst things that you can do is like let a guy go for free. Let a guy go for free without
Yeah.
not even getting something back for him. And that's what happened. It's like there were reports out there that Gordon Hayward, he was interested in going to Indiana, and this, and that. And so I was kind of like, okay, maybe trade Gordon Hayward for Miles Turner because
Okay.
the Sabonis and Miles Turner could like doing so wasn't really working and stuff like that. So it's still, this year they're still playing together and they're doing very good. They're fourth in the East right now. So they've been playing really well. But last year it was kind of like, hey, at some point we're gonna have to trade Miles Turner and so stuff like that. But it never really happened. And so if I'm like Danny Ainge, I'm like, dude, you had a chance at getting a center and Miles Turner, who has, obviously as a center, he has a lot of potential defensively. He can shoot the ball well from three. Now, Daniel Tice is probably going to shoot it at a better clip, but I would still take Miles Turner because I know Miles Turner is like, he offers that length and that athleticism. He can space the floor, and that's really what you kind of need out of centers these days. Because like guys like Rudy Gobert should be out of the league. Guys like Dwight Howard and those stuff like that,
Mhm.
but they still are. And thankfully, they're still playing, great and stuff like that. So that's kind of thing. But like with Boston, it's just been like I don't know because I don't know if they're changing. Because at one point last year, like I kind of had Boston like a championship because I'm like they're on their way up, but it wasn't really that. But also they're missing Marcus Smart, and now we get to the
Mhm.
players and stuff like that. Kemba Walker, people have been saying trade Kemba trade. I'm like, first of all, Kemba Walker has not been there the whole year. He's still coming back from that knee injury, so we don't really know how healthy he really is. He had a great game last night, actually. He played well. I think what he had? He had 32 points. So that was one
Wow.
of his very few good games that he's had. But also, you kind of have to realize he just came back from injury, so you kind of have to take it slow. So with Kemba, that's kind of the thing that you have to realize. Jason Tatum and Jalen Brown, like as good as they are, they're just ISO heavy scores. Like they're not guys that are gonna say, "Hey, Jason, go get me 10 assists." They'll do that every once in a while. They'll do that in the game or so. But like that's really what they are. Like Jason Tatum is a scorer. Jalen Brown is a scorer. By the way, he's an all-star. Congrats to Jalen
Yeah.
Brown too. But yeah, there's an also like that's pretty much what they do. Jason Tatum had 9 points yesterday. He didn't play well, and stuff like that. Jalen Brown,
Mhm.
he did okay. He was, he had 15 points or so, but he had 7 rebounds. So he was okay. But like, you know, they don't have a good bench. Like they don't have. It's Danny Ainge's fault for not improving this roster, and it's Danny Ainge's fault for not improving this roster. It's Brad Stevens also has some fault. It's kind of like apparently Danny Ainge said like the comments. I think he said some comments about like the team lacking in energy and effort and stuff like that. That is alarming because one of the worst things as a player is for you to say um, is for you to say that we don't have no effort. That effort should be coming in every single night. That
Yeah.
just you have to carry that with you every single night. So the fact that he's saying like they're not showing a lot of effort and so stuff like that, that's alarming. That's alarming. So with that being said, like they had to fix that as well. And so, like I said, they're gonna fix that. Like I said, it's the All-Star break. Thankfully, the All-Star break came at the best time for some teams that were really struggling. Now, hopefully, in the second half of the season, they start making a real push. So tell me, like, what are some of the things that you see with Boston, man? Like, who do you think that in terms of the trading deadline, we don't really know who's buying, who's selling in the market. So this market's not exactly dead, but it's not exactly
Mhm.
strong either. It's like, what do you think Boston should do? With like, what do you think? Because remember, they're still missing Marcus Smart. Kemba really
Yeah.
isn't entirely healthy. So what do you think they should do, man?
Uh, to be honest, it's like you said, they needed another Gordon Hayward or like another or a point guard that can like pass well to at least help out Tatum and Jalen Brown because they're just scorers. They won't really get 10 assists usually,
Kemba scores
Or
too, and so
yeah,
Kemba
exactly.
scores too. So that's the thing. But
Yeah,
yeah,
because they got
that's-
scores, really good
yeah,
scores,
absolutely, yeah.
but playmakers and assist makers, and I was
Mhm.
also thinking about the bench. Like they could really improve that.
It's been
You
like
know,
that for years now. Like it's like
yeah,
just watching Boston a lot more. Like Celtics fans probably already been knowing this. Like me watching, it's kind of like it's the same roster every year, but they're just adding
hmm
guys. That's pretty much it.
yeah,
Uh, they really have no depth. Like that's just the things. Like that's been the recurring theme with Boston for pretty much years now. So it's kind of been that. So that's been concerning.
hmm
So Peyton Pritchard, other guys like Robert Williams, guys coming off the bench. Peyton Pritchard is probably going to get moved back to the bench because he's starting for them right now because Marcus Smart has been out. So once Marcus Smart comes back and he's healthy and so stuff like that, Peyton Pritchard is gonna get moved back, and I'll probably Robert Williams. I'm assuming they're gonna start Daniel Tyson, Tristan Thompson. Robert Williams been on the bench, so he's gonna continue to be on the bench and stuff like that. But yeah, like I said, their past mistakes, like they had chances at improving this roster. Like you could have kept Gordon Hayward. If not kept Gordon Hayward, you could have traded for Gordon Hayward. Instead, you let him go for free, and now he went out there to Charlotte, and Charlotte has also LaMelo has been playing well. Terry Rozier has been playing well, so
Yeah.
the Hornets have also been in the mix as well. But that just kind of shows, man. It's like they were always playing like they were known to have like the biggest things, but like they never really showed out anything. So like that's the thing with Boston. Like they're just a playoff team because like
Mhm.
unless if they don't make a move, they're pretty much going to be the same team. They're just going to be in the playoffs,
Yeah.
maybe first or second round at best is what they can really do. Because I don't see it. I don't see it. Their depth isn't really great. They need another wing. In my opinion, they need a center. They need a playmaking wing because playmaking guard, you don't have that in Kemba. Kemba's a scorer. But Kemba, Jason Tatum, Jalen Brown, all three of them score, but they don't really facilitate in that way. So they need to improve their bench. Obviously come out with effort every single night. You shouldn't be
Mhm.
getting called out by your GM. I don't know if Danny Ainge's the owner or GM, but I think he's the owner. Like owner, yeah, owner GM. I don't know, but I think he's GM. Yeah, but you shouldn't be getting called by people up there in the front office talking about effort. That you should never be like as good of a team as they can potentially be, but as bad as they've been this year, you can't be a team that has
Mhm.
no effort. That's
Especially at
alarming.
this level.
Especially at the highest level now, you can't do
Yeah.
that. So I think they'll be fine, but it's not a fine where I say they're gonna make the finals. It's like no, it's your
Mhm.
first round, second round at best. Because unless they make a move, this is gonna be the same roster. So you're gonna have
Yeah.
the same problems bench wise. They're ranked in the bottom in terms of assists. Why? Because they have three guys who
Just
are pretty much
scores.
scorers, and that's why you're
Yeah.
missing Marcus Smart because Marcus Smart can do that. Marcus Smart is a great defender. He can score for you. He can also
Oh
play
yeah.
make for you, and that's really what he provided. But like that's one guy, and so
Hmm.
that's kind of the thing with Boston. Like, hopefully, I want to see success in every team, man. That's what every fan should want.
Yeah.
It's like you want to see success in every team, but that's not exactly how it works. I think with Boston, Brad Stevens talked about like the next now 3 games that they have are the most crucial, and I agree. They have the Wizards tomorrow. They have the Clippers on Tuesday, and then they finish off with the Raptors before heading into the All Star break. And then Thursday, March 11th, they're gonna face the Nets. So that one is going to be interesting as well. So
Mm.
yeah, they just gotta get themselves in a good spot because like Miami's starting to get better now. Toronto's starting to get better now.
Yeah.
There's been some seasons of disappointment. So like I said, the East ain't the West. Like people know that like the East ain't the West, but the East is starting to get up there now that it's really, really
Yeah.
good
Definitely.
teams. Really good teams
Mhm.
showing up. And now obviously Utah has just been unbelievable. Like I haven't watched a lot of Utah games, but like what they do is like really simple because like I think people look at Rudy Gobert and say, "Why is this guy in the league? This guy should be out of the league. We don't have centers like that
Yeah.
anymore." It's kind of like, yeah, you're right. You have guys like Jokic and Embiid and like guys like Christian Wood and stuff like that. Guys
Hmm.
like shoot the ball and so and stuff like that and space out the floor. Um, so yeah, you have an entire argument, but like I don't know how successful Rudy Gobert will be in other places, but for Utah, it's just what they need. It's perfect.
Yeah.
It's fine. And that's really what Utah does. Like they're top five in offense, top five in defense. They have like 5 or 6 guys that shoot 40+% from three. Donovan Mitchell has been playing great. Rudy Gobert has been playing great as well. Gotta give credit to Joe Ingles. Bogdanovich, he wasn't there last year in the bubble in that playoff series against the Nuggets. Obviously, you can argue that's one of the factors of why they didn't win that series and stuff like that, but they had a 3-1 lead. So, that's kind of an
Hmm.
excuse of in itself. All
Yeah.
you need is just one game to win. But yeah, they didn't have Bogdanovich. Royce O'Neal can defend, but also
Hmm.
he can shoot you out at times, but he's shooting well from three overall. And you can't forget about Jordan Clarkson, my
Oh
sixth man
yeah.
of the year. That man has been playing
Definitely.
great. But yeah, I mean they are an unselfish team because like last year it's kind of like Donovan Mitchell ball or we are screwed. But that's not
Yeah.
hasn't been the case this year. I watched the Lakers game. Donovan Mitchell struggled scoring the ball, but somehow like he I think he had 15 assists, I think, and stuff like that. Like somehow they still now obviously the Lakers don't have AD, but the Lakers, in and of itself, the Lakers will be fine. They just like I said, it's the Lakers, and stuff like that. They
Yeah.
they they just won a championship. So like people are gonna automatically start pressing the panic button every time they see something alarming. It's kind of like
Yeah. They
there's
got
no need to panic.
expectations, you know.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
no need to panic, but there's a couple of concerns that you gotta see from Boston for sure. Give me a second. Yeah, there are a couple things that are very alarming with the Lakers, but they'll be fine and so and stuff like that. Like, look at this man. Donovan Mitchell had 13 points, and he pretty much struggled the whole game. But he did have 8 assists and 10 rebounds, but they still blew out the Lakers by 25. So that just kind of
Dang.
shows like how good they really are. They had 22 threes. They share the ball. Like they share the ball. Like I've
Mhm.
seen a couple of clips of their ball movements and stuff like that. Like they share the ball. They're unselfish. They play defense.
Unguardable.
So Rudy Gobert is like that anchor for them defensively. And so while you could argue that Rudy Gobert isn't really that valuable and stuff like that for Utah, he really is because
Mhm.
what Rudy Gobert provides is like he's a vertical lob threat. So if you're doing just a simple pick and roll between it can be Donovan Mitchell, Jordan Clarkson, Joe Ingles, or Bogdanovich, guys like that, like what kind of causes you as a defense is kind of like, okay, we have to stop him from getting to, well, if you stop him from getting to the rim, Donovan Mitchell or Joe Ingles, Bogdanovich has a
Mhm.
layup. And then we can say, all right, you know what, we're going to help him. We're going to come and help. We're going to come and help. Guys that should be out there defending the three are going to come in inside
Yeah.
now. So then what happens? You kick it out from three. So then someone is going to usually make someone from the Jazz isn't going to make it. So that's pretty much what he provides. It's kind of like either you're going to defend Donovan Mitchell, either you're going to defend Rudy Gobert, or you're going to come out to help. And eventually, something they're going to have a bucket
Mhm.
regardless because that's just
Yeah.
how good they really are. And Quinn Snyder has always been a good coach. I've always seen Quinn Snyder led teams for the Jazz the last couple of years. They've always been in the regular season where they've always been top four. You know, You've always been there in the mix. And so this year, and what's so great for them is that I think they have one of the easiest schedules, like strength of schedule wise. They have one of the easiest schedules. I'm like, they have one of the best schedules, like the hardest. Like they had so strength of schedule wise in the first half of the season, they had one of the toughest. Now they're heading into the second half of the
Dang.
year with this good of a record. Now their schedule is going to be even softer. That just proves that it's
Wow.
kind of like they have a legitimate shot at getting the number one seed.
Yeah.
So that in and of itself really shows that Utah's a really good team. Now we kind of get to okay, can they challenge the Lakers when they're at full strength? Can they challenge the Clippers and
Mhm.
stuff like that? I don't know. I don't know. It's good to make assumptions, but I don't know. We'll see what happens in the playoffs, who they match up with, how far they can really go. But I think them being the number one seed, I think they avoid the Lakers or Clippers in the first round. We won't really know until like the yeah, we won't really know until like the season finishes and then we see like the
Yeah.
the where teams are like seed
Standings.
wise and so and stuff like that. So we'll see what happens. But like I think if they're first, I think they obviously avoid the Lakers and Clippers. The Lakers and Clippers are probably going to be high seeds, top four
Yeah.
at best. So they're going to avoid them. But yeah, this is a good team, man. This is a good team. They lost a close one against the Heat last night, but this is a really good team. And I kind of had this thought in my mind. I'm kind of like, what happens if the Lakers are at full strength, but the Utah Jazz can still beat them? And that's kind of the thing that
Mhm.
you always have. That you always had that question. It's kind of like, okay, y'all talking about they're not at full strength, but I'm kind of like, okay, what if everyone from the Lakers comes back, but Utah still beats them?
Yeah.
So who knows? We'll see what happens. But overall, all I know is that, and what's so great for them, man, is like we see the Lakers, like Lakers are struggling, and other teams are struggling and stuff like that. But Utah also, they've had the same system and the same coach, and then they had the same guys. So like that,
Mhm.
all that does is just the chemistry is just going to continue building. Their ongoing
Yeah.
chemistry is going to continue building and stuff like that. And so having the same system and not having a new coach like a lot of teams have had, and not having a new system and new players and so to gel. they don't have that problem, so they're fine, stuff like
Mhm.
that. So that's what I kind of kicked it to. They're an impressive team. Donovan Mitchell is playing great. Rudy Gobert is playing great, but not just then. You got to give credit overall to Jordan Clarkson, Jordan Niang, Royce O'Neal, Bogdanovich, Joe Ingles. Joe Ingles is like one of the slowest, but like somehow he still does something. Like that man is so slow, but somehow it's kind of like he still got a bucket over you. So
Yeah.
he just it's just crazy. He's just crazy. But yeah, they're hopefully they make some noise in the playoffs. So because I think some people. But let me ask you this though, man. Like if there was a Utah versus Milwaukee NBA final, would you watch that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, right?
I watch
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. But I think what teams are what uh like these media heads and stuff like that for ESPN and Fox, all they want is just the Lakers and Clippers and the Nets. Like we know
Yeah.
exactly what they want. Big market teams and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So I get it. But like fans like us, I used to actually watch the game. It's like, what happens if Utah's there? What happens if the Bucks are there?
Yeah.
Bucks have been
That would be
struggling, but
really
that
really
would
good.
be good. Now,
Yeah.
obviously, that would be a loss against big market teams. Like everybody wants, oh, the Lakers and the Clippers and that. But I'm like, okay, what if Utah makes a really deep
Yeah.
run and then they get in the finals? I would for sure watch the Utah versus Milwaukee series. I would for
Definitely.
sure watch that. Now, probably a lot of basketball casuals wouldn't, because all they want to see is LeBron and KD and all those guys, stuff like that. I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
that would be great to watch. If you don't want to watch it, that's fine. That just proves that you just care about more watching the big stars when it's kind of like Utah's a small market, Milwaukee's a small market. So
Hmm.
they have that disadvantage and stuff like that. Like Dame. What's one of the reasons why we don't talk about Dame enough? Because Dame is in a small market. He's in
Yeah.
Portland where most of the games are like late at night. Everyone's sleeping in other parts of the country. So that's kind of not country states, in other parts of the states. So that's pretty much how it is. But yeah, yeah, it wouldn't be bad to see them in the finals. Like what? If they were
Yeah.
in the finals, that would
I'd
for
also
sure
be
be fun.
happy for them.
Yes, like
Yeah.
you want to see small market teams succeed because, like, obviously, of course, the Lakers and teams like
Hmm.
the Nets and stuff like that, they're always going to be in there. But it's kind of like seeing a small market team, like they really legitimately make the finals. I would be so happy because that would be a
Yeah.
big win for small market teams. That kind of proves that hey, we're not LA, we're not Miami, we're not New York, but hey, we got something building here. And so that's for sure what I would look forward to. But it's a long season,
Yeah.
so we'll see what happens. They might legitimately, what is it, 72 games this season? They might win like, yeah, probably 50 games this season. Like they
Or
already had
more.
26 or well, probably
Yeah.
more. So they might win even more. And so now, the champion. I don't want to talk about the Champions League, honestly. I think it's like because all we're gonna talk about is just Barcelona. So I'm not even gonna put it out there. I'm not even gonna talk about the Champions League and stuff like that. All I say is just Barcelona sucks and a lot of teams. Well, yeah, Barcelona sucks, man. I just honestly, I don't get it. I just don't get it. It's
Yeah.
gotta give some other teams their props. Not gonna lie. Juventus lost last week against Porto, so they're down 2-1 in
Two
aggregate.
one.
Yeah, and that's why you have Ronaldo. It's like, okay, perfect.
Oh yeah.
That's why we have Ronaldo. We brought him here not so just he can enjoy Italy and
Yeah.
stuff like that. We actually
He's
brought
probably
him
just
here
gonna go
to
for a hat trick or something.
to get to the Champions. That's why we got you, right?
Yeah.
Maybe we'll see. If Ronaldo's gonna show up though, he's gonna show up. But that's why
Hmm.
you have Ronaldo for scenarios like this. So it's kind of like, hey, take us home, take us to the promised land.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I'm just, it's the first leg, so you can't make really any overreactions and stuff like that.
Hmm.
Obviously the biggest upset, I don't really see any upsets and stuff like that. But yeah, Barcelona suck as usual, so we're just gonna move on. So
Yeah.
I'm not talking about them. Oh man, I'm not talking about but they're pathetic. So why should we talk about mediocrity? I'm just moving on. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this because I'm gonna get even more mad because you really want me to explain the problems with this team? I think so.
Honestly.
I think so now. So I ain't doing
Yeah.
that. I ain't wasting my time on this team. Yeah, this props to the Jazz and other teams that are succeeding right now. And
Hmm.
now it's that the All Star. Did you have a problem with the All Star thing? with like, did you expect to see anyone there? Because I think we had the official rosters now because Anthony Davis is not going to be in there, so Devin Booker is going to
Yeah,
sneak in.
KD
Kevin
too.
Durant's not going to play either, so Sabonis is going to get it. Congrats to Sabonis out there for getting also. Well deserved as well because he has Indy in the fourth spot. He's one of five players to have his 20, 10, and 5. He's been playing really well for the Pacers, so props to him. But with okay, let me just reiterate the starters and then like the bench. I'll start
Mhm.
rosters so that we don't. Yeah, so starters, Kevin Durant, Giannis, Bradley Beal, Joel Embiid, and Kyrie. No problem with that. We're all good with that.
Yeah,
Okay. Eastern Conference reserves. Jason Tatum, he's gonna replace Kevin Durant now. Jalen Brown, James Harden, Zach LaVine. Zach LaVine has done a great year
oh
for
yeah,
the Bulls as
definitely
well.
earned it.
Julius Randle, the Knicks. The Knicks have
Oh
been
yeah,
Knicks have been playing,
yeah. I'm
but
really
they're
happy
gonna
for him.
yeah, but they're gonna have one of the hardest schedules going back to the second half of the season. So hopefully
Yeah,
they're still gonna be in the mix. Now I don't know how bad they're gonna really be, but like they're still gonna be in the mix or so and stuff like that. Ben Simmons, no issues with Ben Simmons and so stuff like that. So I think we're fine with that.
yeah,
And then Sabonis snuck in, Vucevic. Also, Orlando Magic have been really decimated with injuries. So it's been really rough for them. Now to the Western Conference. It's a lot of controversy. A lot of
oh yeah,
controversy. LeBron James, of course. Steph Curry, of course. Nikola
mhm.
Jokic, of course. Kawhi Leonard, of course. Luca. Now, in my opinion, Luca's having a great year. Luca's having a great
Yeah,
year, but I want a Dame in there. I want a Dame. Considering what Dame is doing while not having CJ and Nurk out, and still
hmm
carrying this Portland team. Now
yeah,
they did lose against the Lakers yesterday, and they currently have a 4-game losing skid. But that's understandable because Dame doesn't have TJ and he's missing and they're missing some. But they're still going to be in the mix. I think fully healthy, this team can be a really good team and so and stuff like that. So they'll be fine and stuff like that. Heading back in the second half of the season, they'll have CJ, they'll have everybody back or so. But yeah, you yeah, Luca being there, it was kind
yeah,
of controversial, but I think it's understandable because if Luca wasn't, I mean not Luca, if Dame wasn't there, Luca would be the second guy coming up. Obviously, I think that's
yeah,
not really undisputable. Yeah, you had no problems with it though, right?
yeah. I mean, Luca was kind of struggling compared to Dame, but I guess it's okay. Yeah,
Yeah, the only argument will be Dame has this team in a better place than Luca has, so that would be the only team. But other than that, they're having great numbers. They're playing great.
yeah,
They're having great seasons. And now for the reserves, Anthony Davis, obviously that's going to get replaced. Now it's going to be Devin. First of all, like the fact that Devin Booker was not even an All-Star reserve is just ridiculous, man. Because I don't know
yeah,
what he can
man.
do anymore. Like even with him replacing AD, like imagine if AD was healthy and he was playing well. Well, Devin Booker wouldn't be in there, and that would be
Yeah,
another year. Like I still feel like he got snubbed. Like I still feel like he didn't really no, but he didn't really have it though. He didn't really have the spot. And so that was kind of the things that I was just like, so mad. And it's like, first, well, he's not winning. The Suns suck. Well, first, he didn't have the numbers. Like, I'm like, he has the numbers. The Suns are a top 4 in the East. I mean, not East, in the West. Chris Paul is playing well. They're playing well overall. They're a young team. So considering where Chris Paul has them, they're a young team. So they're a top 4 in the West right now. But it's kind of like, I don't. What else does D Book have to do, man? Just tell me what else he has to do. Like, what does he have to
man.
do?
I really don't know, man. He's been playing amazingly. Like I
Yeah,
wouldn't say amazing compared to last year, but he's been doing great too.
he just increasing his PPG and doing more things. That's it. Like
Yes,
that. That's
exactly.
it. And the Suns are great. Suns are great
Yeah.
right now. Chris Paul doing this thing as he should.
I'd honestly have Devin Booker over Chris Paul.
Then Booker, Chris Paul. Yeah, that's. I think I'll still put Chris Paul there. He's still Chris Paul is still doing
Yeah,
Chris
I
Paul
would.
things.
Yeah,
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 I get where you're coming from, but it's like I still feel like he got snubbed though, man. I still feel like
yeah.
he didn't entirely get it because I would have put him over AD. AD's not having a great
hmm
year, and also he's hurt. That's kind of
Yeah.
the thing.
Like being a
That can hurt.
substitute like that is really not the same.
It's not. It's not. But not he wasn't really a substitute in the first place. He just got in. They just snuck him in there and try to. They think they slick with it and stuff like that. I was about to go
Yeah.
crazy if the fact that he wasn't in there. But it's like I don't know. D Book and Dame, two disrespected players. Dame, I think Dame, um, Luca's having a great year, but Dallas isn't really winning, but they're starting to win now.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the thing. But like Anthony Davis, come on, man. Anthony Davis is a great player, but we know AD gets hurt too many times. And also he's missed a
Yeah.
lot of games. So he hasn't played well. He hasn't really played well. And also he's missed a lot of games. So that's why I wouldn't put
Mhm.
AD in. But yeah, I see DeMar DeRozan, Brandon Ingram, like Mike
And
Conley. Like there's just so many guys
it's a
that should be
lot.
in there. It's a lot of guys, especially in the West too. Klay
Hmm.
Thompson is coming back next year. Like then it's gonna be even much more of a problem now because he's gonna
Yeah.
sneak in there. So it's yeah. I mean, you got Paul George, well deserved, of course. Rudy Gobert. I just talked about Rudy Gobert and his value. Dame got in as a reserve. D. Mitch, of course. Chris Paul. Yeah. Zion.
Yeah.
People would say like, wait, Zion is not getting that much attention. I'm like, yeah, because people learned their lesson last year, huh? Yeah, but yo, they had at
That was
one
on
point,
Lamelo.
yeah, now just Lamelo. I'm seeing every Lamelo highlight now, but it's kind of like he's still having a great year. I think what is he,
Yeah.
66 to 70% from the field,
It's averaging like
mostly
25.
yeah, averaging like 25. Like he doesn't
Yeah.
shoot that many threes, but that comes with time. He's gonna improve all of that. He's in better shape than last year, which is what we gotta give
Definitely.
credit to. Like I think all the characters are looking at what Zion is overrated now. Why is he getting that much publicity? I'm like, first of
Yeah.
all, the Pelicans have underachieved a little bit. I think people expected the Pelicans to be a lot better. Biaz having a great year as well. I think he should have been an
Mhm.
all-star, but obviously with this like we carry like fan voting and stuff like that. We carry 50% of it. So we just determine the starters. But these coaches determine the reserves, coaches and media. So the fact that they
Yeah.
don't have Devin Booker and all these guys and stuff like that, I don't know what these coaches want anymore. So it's ridiculous. But yeah, it's kind of like all the casuals like, so he was overrated. I'm like, dude, he's heading into his second year. Like he has a new coach now. Like he's playing really well. If you're not
Yeah.
if you're not watching him, then what? Of course, like one of the things that I know, man, like watching sports and stuff like that. I'm not gonna talk about something that I haven't watched. So if I
Yeah.
haven't watched
Exactly.
Zion, I'm not gonna say anything. But I'm just gonna say that Zion's a great player. But I've watched like a lot of Pelicans games. Kind of like
Hmm.
Zion's been impressive. He's playing well this year. Now
Yeah.
the thing with Zion is his playmaking. I think going back to Duke, his playmaking was really underrated. Obviously, at Duke, he could really pass the ball, and he's doing a
Yeah.
lot more. Like point Zion handling the point, and I haven't really been impressed. His rebounding, it's gonna go up as he gets older and as he gets more developed and he gets
Hmm.
better in the league, stuff like that. Because I don't know what's his stats like rebounding wise, but like
It's like
guy
six
like him
point
should
eight.
be yeah, 6 feet. Like a guy like him should be getting like 10 boards a game, maybe like 12.
Yeah.
He has that athleticism to get like 5 easily on his own. But yeah,
But then again,
like,
he's like sharing it with
pairing that
Steven
with
Adams
others.
too.
Yeah, Steven Adams, that
So
that dude's a brick wall. So we know that. But
yeah.
yeah, he's been doing. No, the thing with Zion is he's not a great defender. Like we see the highlight blocks, but it's kind of like, can you go like a couple possessions of guarding Steph Curry or maybe a Luca and not doing this and that stuff like that. And also,
Mhm.
yeah, it's his defense and his defense and just staying healthy. But I think
Mhm.
overall he's been playing really good. Just the problem
Yeah.
is that the Pelicans we're not in a great spot that we said. I think we just accepted it to be the. Let me see where they are though. Before I just start talking out of my head and just start making up stuff. Let me see where they are right now. Because right now they're in 11. So,
11.
so they're approaching the play-in mix. I think I would expect them to be probably a ninth, eighth, seventh, maybe play-in mix, but they're starting to pick it up now. But bro, I saw the Bucks and Pelicans game, bro. Like, he had like 24 points in the first half, but he had like 35. No, he had 34 overall, and I'm like, y'all not giving him the ball because they had a couple games back. He was on a tear. I don't know which game it was. Man, he was going crazy. But then they didn't give him the ball. for the second half, and it's kind of like keep giving him the ball. It's kind of like, what are y'all doing?
Yeah.
And stuff like that. It's just frustrating sometimes. Man. Like Sam Van Gundy. Now New Orleans, oh my God, defensively they just they're a disaster sometimes defensively.
Yeah.
You would expect more from a Stan Van Gundy led team because Stan Van Gundy prides himself on defense, really as a coach. So defensively, it's kind of like, okay, Giddy Statement Gunny, they're gonna be better defensively. Offensively is never their problem. Like I've seen games where they offensively, like they're really good. Like they're really good. Bi Zion, Lonzo against the Bucks just frustrated me because I think the Pelicans had a that fight. Lonzo was 6 of 10 shooting the three. He was shooting 6 of 10, and he had like the cleanest look because Brook Lopez was coming out, but he wasn't really coming out to contest. And I don't know if you saw the
Yeah.
last possession, they got the steal and they were moving the ball. Lonzo had the best look. Brandon Ingram, he was attacking the rim, but DiVincenzo was there at the paint, and so it was an offensive foul, a charge, and they sent him the other way, Bucks. And I'm like, Lonzo, and that just kind of shows like Lonzo is so selfish to a fault. And I was kind of like, Lonzo,
Yeah.
you were shooting like he was really making his threes, but he was playing
Yeah.
well. He was like 6 of 10. It's kind of like to think that he would, because make or miss, at least I know he shot it. At least I know
Yeah.
he shot it because kind of like if he was 2 for 9, that's a different story. I don't even think he attempts any threes after that. But he was 6 of 10. I'm like, okay, Lonzo,
Yeah.
you doing your thing. It's like he passed it up. That's kind of the things that I was just sad about, man. I was really sad seeing, like, so and plus he's on a prove it year. Like he didn't sign an extension with the Pelicans. He's gonna be a restricted free agent after this year. So it's kind of like I'm betting on myself to do good. In the last couple of
Mhm.
games for New Orleans, he's been playing really good. So overall, he shot the ball well from the. I wish he would have shot that three, man, because he was playing really well, playing really well. So but yeah, the Pelicans, yeah, they're good. They're a young team. Like I said, another young team. So it's the like people expect such fast results now, but it's kind of like you gotta
Yeah.
calm down. These guys gotta
Yeah. It takes
develop.
time.
It takes Zion's in his second year. People already have expectations like he's in his fifth year in the league, and I'm like, uh,
Yeah.
chill out. Let's pump the brakes now, buddy. Yeah, yeah. So it's ridiculous, man. It's kind of like because the media has a tendency of doing this. It's kind of like, well, if he ain't great after 2 years, get him out of there. He sucks now. Get him out. Get him out. It's kind of like, dude, what? He's in his second year. He's 20 years old, and he's only gonna get better. Like I don't know,
Yeah.
man. It's just the media has just said something like, y'all don't watch games then. If y'all saying stuff like this, it's like that's what I kind of hate.
Yeah.
It's kind of like
Clearly.
DeMar DeRozan. Why doesn't DeMar DeRozan get more love? It's kind of like like
Mhm.
like guys. You remember when Anthony Edwards had that dunk? Like it was just that crazy dunk
Oh yeah.
against the Raptors. I went to Twitter. And there was like this one guy that was saying, well, he was 2 of 14 from the field, oh, 4 from three. And I'm like, there's always that one
Man,
person
I
just
always just
scrolling,
ignore that.
just ignore that. It's kind of like, dude, like
Yeah.
enjoy the highlight. It's kind of like he honestly had like one of the best dunks, like in the
Yeah.
modern era right now. Like from
Yeah.
like I've seen a lot of dunks that shit like, oh my god, that's
That,
disgusting. And then Anthony Edwards too, that was disgusting. Looking at that game at
yeah.
that highlight for a couple of seconds. It's kind of like analytics are just so super. That's why the Denver Nuggets have a play like that because of analytics. And it's just, no, shoot the three, shoot the three, shoot the three. And
Mhm.
then you have lows like that. And like oh my God. Analytics are pushing guys like DeMar DeRozan out of the league. Like, oh, the mid range is dead and stuff like that. The mid range ain't dead. Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, James Harden, LeBron James, Donovan Mitchell, uh, I gotta go more. LaMarcus Aldridge, Christian
We got
Woods shoots
Chris
the mid
Paul.
range. Chris Paul, Devin Booker. There's like 10
It's a
and more
lot.
guys that shoot the mid range. Chris Middleton. Like really, mid range is not dead. I guess people may shoot left, but like the mid range is not. The mid range is not dead because you still have multiple guys shooting it. Dame, Steph,
Hmm.
like there's more guys. Clay, like what? Come on, dude.
Yeah.
Like no, it's not dead because multiple. Because if that was the case, then nobody would be shooting the mid range. But that's not the case. Everybody still shoots the freaking mid range. Like I hate that, bro. Like they because they're pushing guys like DeMar DeRozan. I was like, no, DeMar DeRozan as well. When we saw that ranking, Damon, 82nd, he should be top 50,
No,
top 40. That's where he is.
nah,
Top 4, top 50. He's not top 80. That's not DeMar DeRozan. But hey,
yeah,
they do these types of lists to get us mad. So I kind of already knew what was happening. I was kind of like, how is this guy up there, but like that guy's up there? Like, how is this dude up
it
there,
doesn't
but
make
like
any
that's it?
sense.
It don't make sense. So I just have a tendency to, because those types of lists are the lists that get us mad. So
Mhm.
that's kind of the thing that it kind of shows. But yeah, overall, it's kind of like there's a lot of great players in the league. Like, oh man, when LeBron, KD, Steph, Chris Paul, like those guys retire, just be it's gonna
Man,
be a sad year, man.
yeah,
So, which is why I don't know why people still hate on LeBron, still hate on other guys, and stuff like that. It's kind of like when he gets out the league, where's that hate gonna go now? It's gonna go towards
yeah,
Ja or Zion and stuff like that. It's like, enjoy,
yeah. We
man.
gotta stop with that.
Exactly, like enjoy watching them play. Like you
Like, how
don't
can you hate
know.
him? Like,
Yeah,
what did he do to
exactly.
you?
I don't know. Like, enjoy watching them play. It's kind of like LeBron might be out the league like 4 years from now. It's kind of like that's it. And we're
Yeah,
LeBron. He's gonna walk away like that. Like we don't know. So let's enjoy, man. So I hate that, bruh. Most frustrating things like you're hating on
hmm
a player. If you hated him for going to Miami, that's completely understandable. But it's kind of
yeah,
like the constant hate that he gets every day. It's kind of like y'all got this man rent free in your head. It's kind of like nope. When I wake up, I gotta find one negative thing about LeBron James. Nope. I gotta find one negative thing about Steph Curry. Nope. I gotta find one negative thing about. Oh man, it'd be the
yeah,
funniest, man. That's why I'm never one of those people. Like I
yeah.
truly enjoy watching all those guys play. I just love watching them play. And it would be sad when they retire,
hmm
because unfortunately there's gonna be a time where everybody's just gotta hang them up. So, but it
Yeah.
would be really sad when they retire because they've been just been great, great, great players. But yeah, it's just looking at yeah, yeah, it's just some pain, man. Rockets, uh, the Rockets,
Suck.
being a Rockets fan is just exhausting. Like, oh my god, dude,
Man,
what the heck is going on? Because it's just like, it's the same old stuff. Man, talk to me, man. 'Cause fellow Rockets fans, tell me some of the problems, man. It's been frustrating. And
where to start, man?
I don't even
There's
know
so
where to
much.
start. There's
Like the injuries, the them trading or not even trading, just releasing Cousins when you need a big.
man,
it,
we're going back to the same old stuff.
it doesn't make any sense.
We're going back to
And
the
now
same
we
old stuff.
exactly like we tried it once, it didn't work. I don't know what we're doing right now. Now we can't even shoot a wide open threes. We can't really. It's just sad to see this every time. Now we're like, is it 10 straight games now? It's so disappointing.
That's the crazy. It's like I'm seeing this tweet right now. Think about it, man. James Harden was with us for 8 years.
hmm
All those 8 years, we never missed the playoffs.
Yeah.
Never. Even when we were like 2017, we were really bad. I think when we were like 500, 41-41, when we had the
hmm
normal 82 game season, we made it the playoffs as an 8 seed. When he was
Yeah.
there, we never missed the playoffs. Never. That's
hmm
insane. Like that's
Yeah.
really insane. Because that just kind of shows like how much he really meant to us. So obviously,
hmm
of course, I have pain that he's not here anymore. But also I understand because I don't know where this team is heading and so
Yeah.
stuff like that. But that's really insane, man. Like honestly, every
It's
year
been 8 years.
is it a year? Every year we always knew that we were in the playoffs.
hmm
We always knew. And that's the thing. That's insane. Like
This
that's
was just running away from us.
yeah. Like what? And even when we were really bad, we still made the play. And
hmm
we
Yeah.
somehow like the bad years of the row. Oh my God, talk about bad. Like we were still making it. And then the years that
Yeah.
we've been good, really great. If we still, of course, we still make it. But I think we're missing the playoffs this year, man. I don't
Yeah, we
know,
are.
and it's not, and like you can agree with me too because we don't have a great schedule going into the second half. We don't.
Hmm.
Like we had the toughest schedule in the league. We face like teams that are gonna be in the playoffs, or teams that are gonna be in the finals. Potentially have like gonna be finals. Then we're gonna face against all of those teams.
Yeah,
So, but that's really insane though. It's like wow, he
yeah.
8 seasons never missed the playoffs in the freaking West. In the West.
Yeah.
Oh my god, dude, that's just insane because that really just shows how good he was, man.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's and there's another side here, and this has been the tendency of every Rockets game. Every Rockets game, this has been the tendency. You know how many wide open looks we get every single game? Every single game,
Oh,
we get wide open looks. Whether it's Eric
hmm.
Gordon, Daniel House, Victor Oladipo, John Wall, everybody
Yeah.
gets open looks. They break
PJ
them.
Tucker.
PJ Tucker. I keep saying PJ just running out there, man. He's just
Man.
getting 5 boards and he's just running. I think he had like his best, like he had a double-digit game. I think it was like for the second or third game of the year. So I think so.
Hmm.
Like PJ has not been doing anything, and I think like yeah, honestly, we're gonna trade PJ at some point. We
Yeah,
gotta get into
probably.
like these contenders like the Nets, Lakers, Bucks, Heat. We gotta get into like a contender and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, but we gotta worry about ourselves now. Because like after PJ's traded, by PJ, like we're done with you. We're just trying to get
Hmm.
the best trade package possible. But I was just kind of like, wow, is it the Rockets? So this season, the Rockets have created 35 wide or open threes starting the season. They were 30. They shot 37%. When we were in those 35 attempts shooting from three, when they were wide open starting the season, we were shooting 37%. Now since the last 10, so since we've been having this losing streak, we've created more wide open looks, but just missing them even more. If that don't, that's one of the true stats because every time somebody is always open, but they're breaking. The only person that's
Hmm.
actually shooting the three ball well in the last couple of games have been Daniel House, but I don't know. He like
Yeah.
makes 2 or 3 threes a game, and so it's just it's been a hard time, man. It's
Since
been
Christian
pain.
Wood got injured.
It, we haven't won a game. That's like
Yeah.
them boys really haven't won a game since he would have been hurt. Ever since he would
Yeah.
got down. The last game we won was against Memphis, right? I think, and that was
Yeah.
the game that he got hurt.
You
But let me tell you, oh
can't
my
rely on
god,
one player like this.
you can't. It's inexcusable. It's
Yeah.
inexcusable. Now Boogie has a fair case, but he also has like a case that's against it. The fair case is that he's right. We didn't give him that many minutes, obviously because we were trying to monitor because he's still coming off the major injuries and stuff like that. But also,
Yeah.
kind of like he still thinks he's a starter and getting those minutes. So like, I hope he does, but I don't know if he will
Mhm.
because he's a liability defensively. He was always getting in
Yeah.
foul trouble and stuff like that. But he can still get you points. He still give
Mhm.
you points. But it depends where you value. Oh God, it depends where you value Boogie. That's kind of the thing
Yeah.
when we look at. So that's kind of the
And he was actually shooting the three ball pretty well.
yeah, he was, but the Rockies didn't play him that much. It's like seeing
Yeah.
so, like I've heard a couple of comments say fire Stevenson. I'm like, I'm gonna throw. I'm you
Man,
better go. You better go get your head. To, like you better. I don't know if you're smoking
that
on
just
some.
shows they don't watch the
They
games.
don't watch. They
They
don't
don't
watch. It's
watch.
kind of like Stevens. Like one of the reasons why Steven Suggs is put in that spot. I'm kind of like I watch the like
Yeah.
most of the guys just don't play. Like,
Like he puts the best plays in there. They're wide
yeah,
open.
we're wide open threes. Out of timeouts when we're down, and this has been a constant theme.
Yeah.
He has to draw up plays to get us wide open looks to say yes, yes, I did. Nope, they keep breaking. No, like they'll have one good quarter, and then the next two quarters they'll be bad. They'll be really
Yeah,
bad. And so then that's the thing. It's kind of like I don't know. As a coach, what else do you want me to do? I'm doing
yeah,
something. You're out there on the
yeah.
court, so you're supposed to be doing what I'm telling you. Like, man, it was just
I
since
mean, now we
February
just gotta wait
4th.
for next year, I
I
guess.
guess. Since February 4th, we have not won a game. Last game we won was
Hmm.
against, no. Yeah. The last game we won was against Memphis. That was the game that Silva got hurt. Ever since then,
Yeah.
no, nothing. Nothing. And then there were games that's kind of like, oh, yes, buddy. Oh, we lost those close ones. And then there have been games where we weren't even close at all. Like
Like
the
we were
Knicks,
blown out and then decide to come back. We still lose.
we lost against the Wizards, man. The Wizards. And the Wizards, I gotta give them the props. They've been stacking up wins. So they've been
Yeah,
stacking up
definitely.
wins and they've been getting up. Now all the
They're in
Bradley
12
Beal,
now.
yeah, all the Bradley Beal trade rumor goes down now. It's kind of like, okay, y'all start losing again, finna come back up. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
I ain't gonna give a team when a team is playing well. I ain't gonna give them the props and stuff like that. But it's kind of like, come on, man. Chicago Bulls. Zach Levine
Mm.
showed like Loki did not have a good game. He still had 21 points, but he wasn't shooting the ball well. But Kobe
Yeah.
White, Wendell Carter,
Oh yeah.
Patrick Williams, the rookie that they
Like
got from the draft, Thomas Satoransky, Thaddeus Young. Because bro, I was so mad. Like when it was like the Monday game and stuff like that, and they were playing and stuff like that. I was looking at them and there was a one stretch in the third where it's kind of like, what? What the missing? So like we're going on the other one, we're missing every single shot, and for some reason the Chicago was just making everything. And I was like, what
man, that's just
the hell?
so frustrating.
Because I was kind of like, yes, it's a balance. Like we're defending them, but also they're making so much. They scored 46 points in the third, man. Chicago just came like we were hanging around in the balance and so stuff like that. In the first half, it was good. It was still, I think we were still down in the first half, but it was like, yes, we're still in this game. Then after the third, I was kind of like, no, we're done. We're done. We're not coming back in this game. And it was like that. It's like Chicago was making their shots, but also it's kind of like we stink offensively, bro. Like we just suck.
Hmm.
Because even when Christian Wood comes back, it wouldn't even matter. Like it would be good. Maybe we'll get a couple wins. It wouldn't even matter at this point because we'll have the toughest schedule. We're gonna have like 10 back-to-backs. We're gonna have like 4 games in 6 nights, 5 games in 7 nights. John Wall and Victor Oladipo are gonna keep resting, and then yeah, that's it. Like there's more and more stuff that I can list of, and Eric Gordon's a consistent.
Yeah,
So Eric Gordon, he's
man.
Nawaba has been giving us good minutes. Tate, and stuff like that. He's been
Oh
giving good
yeah.
minutes. PJ's out there running on the floor sometimes. I think he's out there just giving more high fives than he is points. I don't know, man. It's just been frustrating. Like it's been frustrating just watching this team. Oh my god, bro. It's just oh, it's frustrating. And then against the Raptors, like at one point they were down 24. And I was like, they were starting to come back in the first. Like,
Man.
yeah. And then no, we still lost. Oh my god.
They're like within like 4 points or something, then
Oh my
couldn't make a
god.
shot.
And they couldn't make a and I was like, why did they give it? Victor Oladipo started the run. I was like, keep giving it to Oladipo because he was the only one that was scoring out there. And then they're
Yeah.
giving it to John Wall. And I was like, they're gonna break their shots because no one else is in rhythm other than Victor Oladipo. I was like, all right, well, oh my god, it's tough watching this team. It's honestly just so frustrating watching this team sometimes. I just don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Jared Allen,
Yeah.
Jared Allen, I guess Jared Allen had 26 points and 18 rebounds. Yeah,
We
And
didn't
you
have height.
remember, I was one of the biggest Jared Allen fans. I was kind of like, yes, we could have had this dude. Yo, yeah.
Hmm.
Like, you probably weren't in agreement with me at the time, but I was like, that was when the trade first. I was like, man,
Yeah.
Jared Allen gonna get paid this summer. A team gonna throw a bag at him. Why? Because he's producing. I was like, man, y'all these carries are talking about Jared. I was
Yeah.
like, Jared Allen can hoop. Obviously he's not a Steph Curry or like a Joel Embiid Jokic. I was like, But Jared Allen does his thing. And so that was like the most frustrating. I was like, oh my God, you could have had a chance at this dude. And I was like, oh, they got Jared Allen. I'm like, he gonna feast. Like he's skinny out there. It's kind of like C Wood, but he kind of like kind of got more muscle and stuff like that. I'm like, he gonna have a field day.
Mhm.
Who guarding him? Daniel House ain't guarding him. Tate ain't guarding him.
Yeah.
Oladipo ain't guarding him. Tucker ain't guarding him. What the heck? Yeah, it's
Man,
I just don't know. And then they released Boogie. I'm not even gonna get into
that made
that
no
too.
sense, man.
That made no sense. I just don't know. So apparently it's kind of like when so I think it's when Seawood comes back, yes, like they're just doing this small ball thing because when Seawood comes back, I'm like Seawood is probably gonna miss games because he's still coming off the ankle. And so then
Yeah.
you're gonna have to do even more small ball. You're gonna have to do even small ball then because like you're still gonna be out games. I don't
Especially when he
know.
needs to rest.
Is when he needs to
Because he's
rest.
not
Like
gonna
who
play
is
the
gonna
whole
be
game.
Boogie was supposed to be the guy, now he's gone.
Exactly.
Oh my God. There have been some positives, but there have been a lot more negatives, and it's been
Yeah.
really frustrating. Like Justin Patton, the guy that they got from the G League, he's a center, but also he's kind of like he's been cut a lot. Like he's been in the G League, and
Mhm.
so he hasn't really gotten a fair shot at a lot of teams. So it's kind of like he's not getting that many minutes, and so all I know is that okay, at least he's a big, but it's kind of like he's not getting that many minutes. So
Mhm.
it's just been pain. Like I don't. If we pretty much lose like 40 games this year, I wouldn't even care because well, no James Harden, no playoffs. That's how it's pretty much got to. Because when James
Yeah.
Harden was here, as much as some negatives that we have about James Harden and so stuff like that, at least he got us to the playoffs. That's what we know
Mhm.
every year. As long as we got James Harden, we have a chance, and he's gone now. So John Wall, I'm glad John Wall's hooping again. That's like, see
Mhm.
John Wall, yeah, no. Victor Oladipo, coming off that major injury, been playing really well,
Yeah.
isn't he? Really. And it's Eric Gordon's
I think
inconsistent.
this
Eric
is
Gordon's
his best
inconsistent.
game.
Yeah, Eric Gordon's inconsistent self. No,
Yeah.
that's, that's God, it's an overall disaster. It's an overall disaster. PJ had like 11 points and 7 rebounds. I'm like, oh, okay, so he doing something other than high fiving guys. He actually doing something. But the game previous to that, he had 0 points and 7 rebounds. So he just sometimes it frustrates me having PJ out there. So it's like, what is he doing out there? Because like we're
Honestly.
not. Because honestly, from the Rockets, I trade him because like he's getting some buzz about like trading him to contender. I'm like, bet, let's trade him to a contender. I'm like,
Mhm.
y'all better give us something in return though. Give us some of them
Yeah.
picks, maybe a player, so and stuff like that. But it's kind of like he's getting interest from like the top teams. So I'm kind of like, okay, that's fine, because we're probably gonna lose even more games now because we have the
Yeah.
toughest schedule, a lot of back to backs, a lot of games,
I
very
mean, I
few
guess just build
nights.
up for next
Yeah,
season.
and then more guys are gonna miss even more games because John Wall,
Yeah.
Oladipo are coming off major injuries. Christian Wood is gonna come back from that ankle. So then what does that mean? Well, he's gonna rest even more. So
Yeah.
let's just trade PJ while we're at it. I don't even care because we're not going anywhere at this point. Like
True.
we have 40. So when the second half of the season starts, we're gonna have more. We're gonna have the most games. No, actually, San Antonio got like 44 games. And most of the
Dang.
games, it's kind of, yeah, because of postponements with COVID and stuff like that. We have
Oh
like
yeah.
41, some teams have 40, 38, 39, so, and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't, we have the toughest schedule. You have a lot of games to make up, a lot of back to backs, a lot of games in very few nights. And
Man.
yeah, they're saying here that,
Only a miracle to make to the playoffs.
yeah, exactly. So if you have the toughest schedule, most of the time you're gonna have the rest of the season ain't gonna go so good. So
Mhm.
I don't know, man. At some point, I'm gonna stop watching these dudes play. 'Cause I just don't
Yeah.
know. I just don't know because Have you been watching all the games or so, or there just been some games, man, which is
I
kind of like,
mean, I
oh,
might have it on the TV, but am I really watching? Not really,
no,
because it's just
no,
I'm
it's a
not. I
same.
can't, bro.
I can't, I
Same
can't.
mistakes over and over. I can't really.
We have Memphis
Yeah,
tomorrow, and Memphis ain't no scrub team either. I love seeing John Morant play, stuff like that. So we beat Memphis. Maybe we beat Memphis because Memphis was apparently the last team that
yeah,
we beat, and then maybe we beat them again, and then maybe that. But Memphis
yeah.
might beat us, and I wouldn't even be surprised because Memphis is a really underrated team. They're gonna potentially be in the playoff mix. So I wouldn't even care. But it's, it's just I'm just shaking my head because things are just gonna get even worse. If
Mhm.
they somehow if they somehow beat all of these good teams, oh, okay, so not
Come
bad.
on,
But it's kind of like, man, hell no, they ain't beating none of these teams.
man.
They're not beating the Jets, not beating the Clippers, they're not beating the Nuggets, not beating the Lakers, they're not beating the Celtics, you're not beating the Sixers. Joel, oh
Mm,
my
mm.
God, Joel beat him, he's gonna have a field day against us. Are you kidding me?
Man,
Oh my
if we don't have
God.
Christian Wood there, we're
No, poor
screwed.
C Wood is still gonna get moved out the way, man.
Oh yeah,
C Wood's
definitely,
skinny, so he
definitely.
good, but he got to build up some muscles to let that. He should have been
Hmm.
an All Star, but he just missed a lot of games. So just
Yeah,
like
it was
that,
mostly injuries.
yeah, and stuff like that. I'm like because like there's 5 or 7. There's a couple of stretches where we have 5 to 7 games. So I just kind of look up. Oh yeah, we gonna go 0-6. Oh, we gonna go 0-7. Yeah,
Hmm.
I just don't
Yeah,
know. I just don't know, man. It's like, oh my God,
yeah.
bro. It's looking at the schedule is just but yeah, it's yeah. Let me. I showed you that recent post of the 7 home games that we're gonna have. Wait, let me see.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me see. Let me pull it up. If this ain't pain, I don't know what is, man. March 14th. Coming back from the I think no. I think we're gonna play. No, let me check. Uh, we're gonna play. No, we're gonna play March 11th against against the Kings. So no,
All
so we
right.
start against the Kings, and we then we face Utah, and then yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Hey, James Harden is coming back here to ASL on Wednesday.
Yeah.
So
This Wednesday.
yeah, this Wednesday he's coming back. So
Oh,
yeah,
I mean, it's still an L for us, but
yeah,
it's gonna be fun.
it's gonna be a painful night. It's gonna be a
Oh
painful
yeah.
night. The Rockets are probably gonna have a lot of tribute videos, and rightfully so,
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Hopefully he
So
doesn't go too hard on this.
yeah, no, don't boo it. Well, I think you can have some boos because they didn't win a championship.
Oh
Like
yeah.
in
Yeah.
2018, we had the so if those are the kind of boos that he gets, it's understandable. So if you booing him
Okay.
just instead of
Yeah.
booing him, no, come on, man. It's the only
I
reason.
wouldn't do that.
Yeah, the only reason of why you should boo him because we didn't get a chip at the end of the year. I think if he gets a ring, honestly, oh, that's it. Good. We good? Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I think if he gets a ring, I think we're fine with it. I don't even think he leaves. If he leaves, then after that, it's like rightfully so. Oh yeah, I don't see a lot of future with this team. So, like, but one of the things that I will give credit, like we've been listing a lot of negatives, but it's kind of like I like this Rockets team, and they're like even down 24, we somehow still managed to come back
Hmm.
when most teams would probably be in the bottom. So I got to give credit
Yeah.
to that. That's really what it's been shown all year long. Is like they're a tough, scrappy team and stuff like that. So that's what I gotta give credit for. But oh my God, and like somebody's always playing well against us, or as a team, they're just playing well against us. Yeah, I showed you that Instagram post on March 14th, Boston.
Yeah.
April 5th, Phoenix. Yeah, April 7th, the Mavericks. April 16th,
Man.
the Nuggets. April 21st, the Jazz. April 23rd, the Clippers. April 29th, the Bucks. And then the Warriors, Steph
Eh,
Curry, as usually gonna do his thing May 1st, and then the Sixers had made fit, and so in and of itself, it's
Man,
just oh,
just wish them luck.
yeah. I wish them boys like it's tough ass cake. Yeah, that's pretty much it for today.
Yeah.
It's pretty much it's like a 40-minute video, but we just talked about more other things other than that. But yeah, we didn't talk about soccer today, which is good because all we were going to talk about was talking about Barcelona. Man U,
Mhm.
I think Man U still sucks. The run is a fluke. And Man City,
Yeah.
man, I told you it was either gonna be Man City or Liverpool, and Man City
Mhm.
has been rolling right now.
Yeah,
So
another like
that
10 points clear.
yeah,
So
exactly.
they got
So
it.
yeah. And then Ole, like the manager for Man U, said the race still isn't over. As a coach, of course you're supposed to say that because
Mhm.
rightfully so, but I'm like, dude, it's done. It's done. Man
But then
City is healthy
again,
now.
but then
Huh?
again,
They
they
play
do have a
again.
lot of games. So you
They
never know. This is the
yeah.
Premier League. You never really know.
Jurgen Klopp was crying about the fact that Man City had less games, but it's kind of like, dude, you have more games. Like what? Like, if you have more games, you can catch up to them. Jurgen
Mhm.
Klopp has been crying a lot. Like this dude has been making some comments, kind of like, dude, just play. You think Man
Yeah,
City will want their games postponed? Of course not. Like
yeah,
somehow their games got postponed, but hey, they're 10 points ahead of everyone else. So
yeah,
you
exactly.
really want to make a exactly. It's kind of like, bro, you have more games. Like, why are you
Yeah.
complaining? Like, what? Ridiculous,
Hmm.
man. But yeah, that's it for us. We'll get back at
Yeah.
it next week.